Everyone, I'm Rashmi Mangla. I'm working as an assistant professor for the BBA department of St. Andrews Institute of Technology and Management. The subject that I'll be taking today is Human Rights and Values. This is our 6th lecture. Now, the topic that we'll be mainly covering today is again relevant constitutional provisions. We had covered certain provisions in our previous lecture. That is, we had covered the provisions for right to life, for liberty and dignity, for protection against exploitation, for right to equality. So we had covered these in our previous class. Now today we will be covering relevant constitutional provisions for cultural and educational rights, for economic rights and political rights, for economic and social rights. So let's begin with our lecture. Now, for cultural relevant provisions for cultural and educational rights. Now, education as a human right, when we consider it as a human right, it means that it gives us a right. Right to what? Right to free and compulsory primary education. That, in India we know that primary education is free and it is compulsory for the children. Then it gives us right to available and accessible. The things which are available and easily accessible hai. Available and accessible secondary education, including technical and vocational education and training, which has been made progressively free. Then it also means right to equal access to higher education on the basis of capacity, made progressively free. Then right to fundamental education for those who have not received or completed primary education. Now the people who have not received primary education, so they have a right to fundamental education. Then it gives us right to quality education both in public and private schools, freedom of parents to choose schools for their children which are in conformity with their religious and moral convictions. So parents have a right that they can choose the school for their ward. Then freedom of individuals and bodies to establish and direct education institutions in conformity with minimum standards established by the state. So individuals also have a freedom that they can establish and they can direct the institutions in conformity to work along with the standards that have been established by the state. And it also means the right to education is legally guaranteed for all without any discrimination. Now, and not only this, we also have the provision for education of minorities. Like in Article 30 of the Indian Constitution, it relates to certain cultural and educational rights to establish and administer educational institutions. So Article 30 deals with education of minorities. And all minorities, whether based on religion or language, they shall have the right to establish and administer their educational institution of their own choice. Now let's see the next one. Now for economic and political rights. Now we all know that human rights, they are based on principles of dignity and freedom, and both are severely compromised when human beings cannot meet their fundamental needs. If we cannot fulfill our fundamental needs, then that means we are not being able to exercise our rights. So economic and social rights, they guarantee that every person be afforded conditions under which they are able to meet their needs. So every person should be given such conditions that they can fulfill their needs. And economic and social rights, they mainly include right to education. Now again, right to education, it enables all persons to participate effectively in a free society and is directed to the full development of human personality. Second one, right to food, that is guaranteeing freedom from hunger, that nobody will be hungry and they have access to safe and nutritious food. Third one, right to health. Now it ensures the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health, including access to care, access to nutrition and clean water and air. So everybody has a right to health. Then right to housing. It ensures that access to a safe, secure, habitable and affordable home with freedom from forced eviction, that nobody can evict you. Nobody can tell you to move out of your home. If you have bought a house, can somebody tell you कि अगर आपका नहीं आप चले जाओ? No. So that is eviction. Nobody can tell you to move out of that place. They cannot evict you. Then right to social security. Now, social security means guaranteeing that everyone, regardless of age or ability to work, has the means necessary to procure basic needs and services. So everybody, whether they, apart from their age or they are able to work or not, they should have necessary means to fulfill their basic needs and services. The last one is right to work. Now, right to work means guaranteeing the opportunity to have fulfilling and dignified work under safe and healthy conditions with fair wages, affording a decent living for oneself and one's family. So everybody should be able to work, should be able to have a life wherein they can fulfill their needs and wherein they can live in safe and healthy conditions. So these were our mainly economic rights. Now when we talk about political rights. Now political rights are about ensuring people's ability to participate in the political life of the state. Basically they entitle people that with the rights to elect public officials or themselves to hold public office. For example, we in India, India is a democratic country wherein we are the people of India, the population of India. They are the ones who basically, who vote and who select their representatives. So political rights are a class of rights that protect individuals' freedom from infringement by governments, social organizations and private individuals. And they ensures one's ability to participate in the civil and political life. That they ensure that yes, we have the ability, we have the right we can participate in the civil and political life of the society and state without any discrimination. Everyone has got the right to vote, for example. And not only this, political rights include natural justice in law, such as the right of the accused, then including right to a fair trial, due process, right to seek redressal or legal remedy, and right to participation in civil society and politics, like freedom of association. So these are the rights which are given under political rights. Then next we have economic and social rights. Now constitutional provisions for economic and social rights. Now under this rights are assigned within various articles which we will be studying. So first one is Article 38. Article 38 states that it gives us state to secure a social order for the promotion of welfare of the people. So basically, the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may a social order in which justice, social and economic and political shall inform all the institutions of the national life. So basically it promotes for the welfare of the people and for securing and protecting their personal interest, which includes social order wherein justice and political outforms are there. And not only this, it shall strive to minimize the inequalities in income also. If there is any inequality in income, there is any inequality in status or facilities or opportunities for the individuals or maybe amongst the group, so those inequalities are also removed. Then Article 39, it states basically certain principles of policy to be followed by the state. And now for example, the state shall in particular, it should direct its policy towards like securing that the ownership and control of material resources of the community, they should be distributed in such a way that they serve commonly to all the people, they serve good to all the people. And it can work towards securing that citizen, men, women equally have the right to an adequate means of livelihood. That means everyone has an equal right to livelihood. Then it it is directed towards securing that there is equal pay for equal work for both men and women, and children should not be abused. Then children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner. So these are the things that are mainly covered under this article. Then we have Article 39A, equal justice and free legal aid. Now the states shall secure that the operation of the legal system, the way legal system operates, it promotes justice. Legal system promotes justice on a basis of equal opportunity. Everybody should be given equal opportunity, and shall in particular provide free legal aid by suitable legislation or schemes or in any other way to ensure that opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen. See, if the person who are not able to, afford a legal lawyer for themselves, so they are given free legal aid, so that everybody has got the right to secure justice, and so that this right shall not be alienated or shall not be taken away from them. So that is why government provides free legal aid as well under various schemes and legislations. Then Article 40, it tells about organization of village panchayat. Now the state shall take steps to organize the village panchayat and to endow them with such powers, to empower them and to give them powers and authority which is necessary so that they can function as a unit of self-government. So they are given powers and authority by the state. Then Article 41, right to work, to education and to public assistance in certain cases. Now, the state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, whatever is the limit of its economic capacity and development, it will make effective provision. Why? For securing the right to work, for securing the right to education, and for securing the right to public assistance in cases of unemployment or maybe old age or maybe sickness or disablement. So the state has to prevent these rights. Then Article 42, provision for just and humane conditions of work and maternity relief. Now state shall make provision for securing just and humane conditions, that the fit and appropriate conditions of work and for maternity relief. That means if there is any worker who is pregnant, so they need to give certain relief on basis of maternity terms, like they have to be given maternity leaves, or as when necessary, if they require any leave, they have to be given. Then Article 43, living wage etc. for workers. Now state shall endeavour to secure by suitable legislation or economic organization or maybe in any other way. What they have to secure to all workers, agricultural, industrial or otherwise, work, a living wage, conditions of work ensuring a decent standard of life and full enjoyment of leisure and social and cultural opportunities. So basically, they have to work towards securing what? The wages of workers, securing the conditions where they work, and to provide them a good standard of living. Then Article 43A deals with participation of workers in management of industries. Now state shall take steps by suitable legislation or in any other way to secure the participation of workers in the management. That workers should be secured from participating in the management of undertaking, establishments or other organizations engaged in any industry. Then Article 44, Uniform Civil Code for the citizen. The states shall endeavour to secure for the citizen. The state shall endeavour, to secure for the citizen a uniform civil code throughout the territory of India. Throughout the whole territory, they should have a uniform civil code. Then Article 45, provision for early childhood care and education to children below the age of 6 years. Now, state shall endeavour to provide early childhood care, that every child is entitled to a childhood care and education for all children until they complete the age of 6 years. They should be given proper care. Then Article 46, promotion of educational and economic interest of scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and other weaker sections. So now state shall promote with special care the educational and economic interest, whatever is the educational interest and economic interest of the weaker section of the people, and mainly about scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, and they shall protect them from social injustice also and any kind of exploitation. Then Article 47, duty of the state to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living and to improve public health. Now state shall regard the raising of the level of nutrition and the standard of living of its people and improvement of public health as among its primary duty. So basically the primary duty should be to improve the public health and to raise the level of nutrition and to raise the level of standard of living of people. Then Article 48, organization of agriculture and animal husbandry. Now state shall endeavour to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines and shall in particular take steps. Certain steps shall be taken for preserving and improving the breeds and prohibiting the slaughter of cows and calves. Then Article 48A, protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding of forest and wildlife. Then now mainly we have to protect and improve the environment and we have to safeguard our forest and the entire wildlife of the country. Then Article 49 deals with protection of monuments. Now just like that, it is an obligation of the state to protect any monument and places and objects which are of national importance. They have to be protected by the state. Then Article 50, separation of judiciary from executive. Now state shall take steps to separate the judiciary from the executive in the public services of the state. Then the last one is promotion of Article 51, promotion of international peace and security. Now state, it shall endeavour to promote international peace and security, to maintain just and honourable relations between nations, to encourage the settlement of international disputes by arbitration, or maybe to foster respect for international law and treaty obligations. So these were all of the relevant constitution provisions that we had seen. Now that's all for today, children. Let's see the questions based on today's concept. Write a short note on cultural and educational rights. What are the constitutional provisions for economic and social rights? Stay tuned for the upcoming lectures. Thank you.